Before we get into the Buccaneers and the NFL draft, which is right around the corner, I want to give P in Lakeland a moment to talk. He wants to talk about Kevin Cash and the roster of the Tampa Bay Rays. What's up, P? You're on the Nick Wise Show. How are you?
How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. What's going on?
I'm all right. I just want to say I absolutely love the show. I love listening to you. You're very controversial. I love and hate most of your takes, so I'd be intrigued to
Thanks,
call
P.
it. I'd be intrigued to call and talk to you, buddy. You're doing amazing.
Thanks, dude.
Best show ever.
Thanks, man.
but
What did you want to say about Kevin Cash?
I think about Cash. I still haven't forgiven Cash for the World Series with Snell.
Oh, there it is. 34 minutes
I
into the show, P. We got a Blake
yeah
Snell mention.
yeah, but and I think that he does do a good job with what he's giving. He's not shopping at Kobe State. But my question was like if everything was to go as close as the perfect or the best it could be, what is the ceiling? I hang up and listen. I appreciate you for setting the call, buddy. Have a good day.
Thanks, P. Look, what is the ceiling for the Rays? They're one of the hardest teams to try to predict what the ceiling could possibly be. I would say if everything goes their way, 87, 88 wins is probably what you're looking at. Maybe 90 would be tough. I guess if everything went their way, 90, and that might be pushing it a little bit, but that means everything went their way, right? That means their hitting is in the top 10. They cut back the errors. They get back to playing defensive baseball. They get back to what they were built on, and right now they're not on what they built on. So it's hard to really determine that with this team. I say realistically, they probably end up around the 500 is what I'm thinking, and everything goes perfect. Tim, your thoughts? I mean, if everything goes well for the Tampa Bay Rays, I think 87, 88 wins is fair, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say with this team, if their hitting kind of stays where it was, they obviously clean up all the errors and get to at least middle of the pack in terms of committing errors. Yeah, I would actually sneak around 90.
Well, if they get back to hitting the way they were and they're top 3 in baseball and they clean up the errors to get to the middle of the field, then I'll say 95. But I think that's above perfect, in my opinion. I don't think that's a realistic thing for the Tampa Bay Rays. I just don't think they're going to be able to continue to hit at the level they did in the first week. That's a tough ask. But
True. And Nick, how much water do you have right now?
Good water. Let me get some water here. I got a half cup left, which is we're about halfway through the first hour. So hold on.
He's got to stay hydrated. I mean,
trying to fight off whatever it is I must have got at Ferg's. I think it's just from shaking the hands and going over to the Trop opening day. I thought shaking hands was going to die with COVID, but it didn't. We're all back to shaking hands.
It's the Michigan game that killed you.
Yeah, and then staying up late, yeah, that killed me too. Like, can we just change the time to that game? That'd be nice. I'm not trying to stay up till midnight any day of the week, but here we are. All right, Buccaneers, they got a draft coming up. I thought we could have a little fun with this, Tim. It's called Who Am I? I'll read off some clues. When you think you know who it is, say got it. But let me finish off all of the clues so the listeners can play along in their car. So I got 5 different mock drafts in front of me from so-called experts. 5 different selections for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The first one actually comes from Buccaneers.com. Whenever I read the Buccaneers.com mock draft, I'm like, I wonder if they have any intel, but they don't. They're just like us. They're media members taking their best educated guesses. And so here's what we got. Who am I? I'm a junior in college. I played in the SEC. I played in college in the state that I am from. I'm 6'6", 285 pounds. I had 10 total sacks in 3 seasons. My best season was in 2024. And I am an edge rusher.
Got it.
I can't give you the last clue because I don't want to give it away. I think the last clue will give it away. Who do you think the Buccaneers.com has the Buccaneers taking at pick number 15 based off those clues?
Well, based off the clues, I think it's going to be Keldrick Falk from Auburn.
That is correct. And the last clue was I played at Auburn, which would have given it away. The 10 total sacks in 3 years isn't a lot. I do have a lot of questions about Keldrick Falk, and I think he goes at 15 in this mock draft because so many edge rushers were taken in the mock draft. I think if that's your best option, you might have to either, if that's the guy you want, I think you got to trade back to go get him, or look at maybe possibly another position. I think 15 for him is a little bit of a reach, but we'll see how it all plays out. All
the
right.
only thing, sorry to cut you
No,
off.
go ahead. What?
The only thing I'd say about him is he's 20 years old and 6'6". That you can't teach that stuff.
No, he's definitely young. He's got the size. I just the sack number does bother me a little bit, but he is only 20 years old, and there is a lot there that could be developed. And he showed some good things at Auburn. I just think 15 might be a little bit high for him. All right, the next mock draft comes from ESPN's Peter Schrager. Still getting used to him being at ESPN. Who am I? I am a junior who started at Oregon State and then transferred to the SEC. I had 75 tackles in my college career. I had 6 interceptions in my college career. I did not play my freshman season. I also returned punts in 2024, and in 2025, I did not play due to an ACL injury. I am a cornerback.
Oh, yeah. See, I've been thinking this whole time we're talking about edge rushers, D-line, trying to get that front 7 up with a corner. Is it the Delaney kid?
It is not. I played at Tennessee.
No. McCoy.
Jermod McCoy. The one concern with him is he is coming off of the ACL injury. We'll see if that knocks him down a little bit, but 75 tackles, 6 interceptions. He was really good. He didn't play it all last year. So it's hard to take a guy that hasn't played all year and make him your first round pick. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know if the Buccaneers would take that kind of risk unless they have him really high on the draft board. And look, there's been guys like him that have fallen in the draft. Will Johnson, people were concerned about his injury. I could see McCoy falling down because of his injury, and Will Johnson ended up being pretty good in his rookie season. All right, CBS Sports mock draft, Pete Prisco. I am a senior who is 6'3". I am from Ottawa, Canada. This one might give it away. I played college football for 6 years. I started my career at West Virginia and played there for 2 seasons.
Yep.
You got it?
Oh, I got it.
I had 34 and a half sacks in my career, and I had 12 and a half my senior year. I had forced 5 fumbles in my college career, and my biggest knock in the draft is my age.
Yep, that is one Akeem Mesidor.
That is Akeem Mesidor out of Miami. I like that pick. I think a lot of people are really worried about his age. I think I wouldn't be worried about that because he's a guy that I think can actually come in and contribute right away on this defense. And what more could we really ask for the Buccaneers is a guy that could come in right away. I think that's exactly what they need is a guy that can contribute right away, not a guy that can play in 2 or 3 years. They want someone right now. Like, they didn't blow this thing up. They kept it together outside of, of course, Levante David retiring and Mike Evans leaving. For the most part, they didn't blow anything up, right? Todd Bowles is still here. They believe the roster is decent, and he's a guy that can come in right away and probably make a difference, and I don't think there's a lot of guys in round number 1 that can do that for you, but Akeem Mesidor could. So I really like that pick. That's from CBS Sports, Pete Prisco.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is, again, he's going to be getting his second contract depending on how good he is. He's going to get his second contract by the time he's 31.
He's definitely older, but I'm not going to let the age. If he can give me 10 years, I'll take that. And if he could play this year and be effective, I'll take it. I wouldn't. Let's say this: I wouldn't pass up on him because of his age.
True.
And I think some teams are, and he might be available there 15 because of it. All right, here we go. Matt Miller, ESPN. This is his mock draft. Different players selected. I played college in my home state. I am 6'1", 235 pounds. I am one of, if not the biggest need for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I had 88 tackles in 2025, and I forced 2 fumbles. I'm a junior in college, and I play linebacker. This one might give it away, the team that he played for. Unlike most of my teammates, I have a clean driving record. Who am I? He went to Georgia.
Oh, yeah. The driving record absolutely gave that away.
It's not Tiger Woods.
No. Second Georgia.
C.J. Allen, the linebacker out of Georgia.
There you go.
Again, I think at 15, I think you're reaching probably a little bit. These are a lot of guys I think the Buccaneers should move backwards for. All right, last one. This one's from PFF.com. I'm a junior in college from the state of Idaho. I had 11 touchdowns in my career, and 8 of them were my senior year. My longest touchdown was a 30-yarder. People say I would be the Bucs replacement for Mike Evans. I only played for one school in college. Who am I?
I don't know. Why is anybody talking offense with the Bucs in terms of drafting?
That's because a lot of people have the Buccaneers taking this player, and that is Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah.
The tight end. I think the worst thing the Bucs can do is try to replace Mike Evans early in this draft.
Especially with the tight end.
Especially with the tight end. You know what? I want to talk more. I'm up against it right now. I want to talk more about that, actually. The Buccaneers trying to replace Mike Evans in the first round, I think, could be their biggest mistake they could possibly make in the NFL draft coming up here at the end of April. All right, more on that coming up next. It is the Nick Wise Show.